In 1957, England's Queen Elizabeth, who was making her first visit to the United States, was scheduled to watch a college football game at the University of Maryland. However, reporters would be strictly forbidden from sitting anywhere near her and recording her comments. Undaunted, Life magazine approached Robert Panara, a young professor at Gallaudet College, with a very unusual request. Here, Panara recounts the unique role he played in Operation Lipread, a slice of deaf history that has become legendary.
Hello. My name is Simon Carmel. I've been researching on different stories, like jokes, personal experience stories, riddles, a variety of things. Today, I want to talk about deaf legends that have spread throughout the deaf community. Today, we have an important guest who will tell a story about his experience with Operation Lipread. His name is Dr. Robert Panara.
Thank you, Dr. Carmel. We old friends and both graduated from Gallaudet University many years ago to be here with you.
Now, I'd like you to tell the story about your experience with Operation Lipread. But first, I'd like you to tell us about your personal background before you start the story.
Thank you. Well, I was born and brought up in New York City, born in 1920. That makes me 80 years old now. I became deaf from spinal meningitis when I was 10, was six months, and I got well. So I had a school for the deaf, so I went back to a hearing school. Deaf person, really, I read my way through school. I happened to be a good reader. I had to pick up lip reading, but I didn't understand everything the teacher said, so I read my way through school. Elementary school, then high school, same thing. I had heard about Gallaudet College, went to Gallaudet, learned about deafness and my identity there at Gallaudet. Graduated, toured at New York School for the Deaf, 4 years, got M.A. degree in English, NYU. Then was asked to teach at Gallaudet. I taught there 18 years. Wonderful time there. And was asked to come here as the first deaf professor in 1967. Came, established the English department, established the theater department, and stayed 20 years teaching at NTID and RIT, First Institute of Technology. National Technical Institute for the Deaf is established now.
Thank you. You know that many deaf people, and also articles and books, have been talking about your Operation Lipread for many years. So could you tell the story about that? Please, tell the story from the beginning to the end.
Well, it began, the date was October, I think, 15th, on a Monday or Tuesday in 1957. I was teaching at Gallaudet University, and one day in the afternoon, the president of Gallaudet U, Dr. Elstad, calls me into his office. He introduces me to the Washington, D.C. editor of Life magazine. Dr. Elstad interpreted. He explained, the Queen of England is here, her first visit to America with her husband, the Prince. So they are staying with President Eisenhower. Saturday, she will go to the University of Maryland to watch a game of football. First experience for her. And Life magazine can't have a reporter in or near the Queen's box, the 50-yard line. They can't have a photographer ask, can you get a lip reader? And we put the lip reader way up opposite where she was sitting, using a telescope. And maybe it will work. I said, me, I started president, you're a good sports fan, baseball, football, everything, and I know you're a good lip reader. Wanna try it? Life magazine editor said, tomorrow I'll pick you up and bring you to the University of Maryland. We will have a secret workout. Okay. No, he came. I got in the car, went to U of Maryland. Sat on the 50-yard line where the Queen was sitting next Saturday. Life magazine editor sat here. Two other riders walked across, one up to last row opposite. He said, I'm going to ask you questions, write them down. You answer me. No, I went up there. I went up there with a rider. He sat there with other rider, and he talked anything that came to mind. I was up there with a telescope, reading what he said, like, it's a beautiful day. I wonder how many people are here. I wonder who's going to win the game today. About 15 or 20 questions. Then he waved, come on, Dan. I came down. He matched the questions he asked and what I answered. You got about 50%. So it will work. I said, maybe so, but maybe 50, 60 people there. The Queen has a British accent. I think we better have a backup. What do you? I recommend. I know a good student who's an expert lip reader. Boy, he was a freshman named Elton Silver. Said, okay, Saturday morning we'll pick you up. Top secret, quote, operation lip read, like during the war. Everything called operation something. Only tell your wife and president of Gallaudet you know. We pick you up and drive you to the university to see the game. Okay, so picked me up Saturday, drove me to the university. They had a special platform erected, 10 by 10. We climbed up the ladder, and there was the editor, tape recorder, and two photographers with longer range lenses to take pictures. Alton was there and me was there. Well, I had told them during that practice in the afternoon, a telescope too heavy, better use a lighter, and quote, 2 eyes better than one. He laughed, he gave us some binoculars. Went on. The Queen came in, they stood up. Then the game began. Fine. Alton, the Queen would say, how many men on the team? Together. Why are the goal posts back of the goal line, not on the goal line like in English rugby? Later on said, what are those numbers up there? She meant 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th down. Why? Who are those men with the poles and the trains to measure first downs? She was learning, and she said, when 4th down kick, defensive team comes out, so are they trains and teams? And she said, when they have a huddle, why does that one man go first before they break the huddle. That was the center. Always to the line first. But after a while, she began to catch on. Very interesting. I caught her saying, that's a pass. Right. When pass failed, she said, I believe now they return the ball back to the place where the band. That's all right. They're correct. Was surprised. Anyway, while Wilson, editor, break a half. I was exhausted. Same with Alton. They had sandwiches, coffee. They would have a sandwich, coffee. I said, what's the score? He said, 7-7. We never saw anything of the game. They met University of North Carolina, met Maryland. That time, 1956, 57, 58, Maryland U was voted #1 in the United States. Strong football teams, and North Carolina was good. Anyway, 7-7. Ooh, I wish I could see the game. Again began the second half. A little bit more. I also got her husband, Prince Charles, was talking about horse racing with University of Maryland president named Wilson Elkins. The governor of Maryland named Theodore Elkins. They were talking about 3 weeks later they will have International Horse Derby in Pimlico, Baltimore, your home. And the prince said, we will enter 2 horses from England. Just happened to catch that. And then anyway, finally the game ended.
The Duke was Philip, not Charles.
That's right. Thank you for correcting me. Prince Consort Philip, you're right. He was very nice. Funny, when they gave him a football, he said, oh, thank you. Can I kick it? Well, anyway, game is over. Who won? Maryland won 21-7.
Then what happened after that?
What happened? We bought what that editor and photographer went outside with a lot of people. Police, 3 policemen with us led the way. One in police car, right through the crowd of people, drove to a nearby private airport. They had a small plane waiting. And we follow with Alton, with the Life magazine editor and the photographer, and pilot too. Beautiful propeller. Oh, beautiful fall afternoon to New York City. I landed at LaGuardia Airport and got in a taxi cab to Rockefeller Center. And up a Life magazine, a Lifetime fortune building, went up to the 19th floor. They had a long table set up with food already. Roast beef, ham, turkey, and tables. I said, oh, what's this? Life magazine editor said, for you too. Stars, how you sign stars? With stars, you too, the stars. V-I-P, that right? Yeah, see, I told him little finger spelling V. I said, oh, come on. He said, we'll get ready to read in a while. we come in to eat after we washed up. I noticed many people coming in, roll up the sleeves, some with green sides. I said, what's this? He laughed. We do this every Saturday night. Prepare the next edition of life. We stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, oh, we are not VIP. Anyway, he finished, and we went to manual. The woman, the secretary, had already received the tape recorder and changed it to a type script. Asked us to check it, and check it with pictures that they took. Bathroom, the mask, quote, with a picture. We worked on that for about 2 hours, and he threw out some things, eliminated some things, like the Prince Philip talking about the horses. He said, we're going to concentrate on only what the Queen said, that's all. We don't want to risk a libel or anything. When they finished, it was about midnight. He gave us tickets to fly home Sunday morning, the next day. He said, we have a room reserved across the street in Hotel Roosevelt. You two will sleep there overnight. Tomorrow, take a taxi and fly home to Washington, D.C. Remember, absolute secrecy until the magazine comes out. That's it dead. The game was October 19th. The magazine came out October 28th, 1957.
That is really a fascinating story. I would like you to describe what your thoughts and feelings were before, during, and after the game.
Before, I thought, impossible to do. I was good lip reader, yes. And after I became deaf, I associated with hearing boys. I played sports, went to high school, had to lip read to survive. But I wouldn't say I was expert anyway. Tried our best. I think we got something like maybe 40% of what the Queen said, although she really didn't speak very much. She's very demure. Spoke enough for us to get some things. Our husband was more talkative, but we couldn't include what he said. And during the game, we sorted it out. Wow. Remember, at the half, Alton asked me, hey, Bob, did you get that much? I said, I got some. He said, hard, very tough. I said, maybe since I was older than him, and probably my English experience helped me to put some things in context faster. I would get a little bit more. Both of us sweated it out. After it was done, we had a really funny. When finished that Life magazine at the quarters, before we went to the hotel, and the editor gave us what? Bottle of rye whiskey. Now drink that and you can sleep soundly.
I'm curious. What was the impact of that event?
Well, after the story came out in Life magazine, Canada College students wanted the story for their student newspaper, The Buff and Blue. Interviewed me. I gave him the story. It's over here. And I met with the president. He said, you did a good job, you and Elton. I think we proved to the world, especially to the Alexander Graham Bell Association of the Deaf, Canada College has good lip readers there. It showed, man, Canada really always had a speech and hearing department. People don't realize that. I think it helps spread the word that Canada also teaches speech lip reading. They have good lip readers there too. That helped, gave publicity to the college in a different way. But there's another part to this story. 1 month or 5 weeks later, the President Elstad calls me into his office. He says, Bob, I want to say again, you and Elton did a good job and you helped publicize Gallaudet College. However, last night the board of directors met. They discussed the whole affair and they agreed it was good publicity for Gallaudet College. Very interesting. But that was, quote, an invasion of privacy to the Queen. And hereafter, our faculty students must not participate in any lip reading stunts hereafter. So that ended all other things connected with lip reading. Oh, I'm dropping.
My gosh. I'm wondering if the CIA ever contacted you for spying on other people in other countries, or another business organization contacted you for your help in spying on other people.
I know they did contact Gallaudet, yes, especially during the Korean War. Something connected with captured prisoners, MIA missing in or POWs. But Gallaudet decided they didn't want to get involved in things like that. So as far as I know, nothing more really happened after that. Maybe in other parts of the U.S. or the deaf people were asked to do that, possibly, could be.
Do you think that lip reading is really 100% perfect when reading other people's lips?
Oh, yes. Well, there are many deaf people who don't know sign language, depend on lip reading. For them, it's a matter of survival, and many of them make a go of it in life. I applaud them, too. It helps. Same, you and me. In life, we have to go to the store, we have to buy things, we have to try to communicate with next door neighbors. They don't know signs, we have to lip read. So lip reading, yes, does help in many ways, yes.
Besides publicity for Gallaudet University, did that event help to promote awareness about deaf people and their deaf culture?
That event. After that happened,
yeah, did it help deaf awareness?
I got many letters from my friends and several from editors of newspapers related to the deaf and others would tell me very interesting story. Some quoted parts of the Life magazine story. Report. I had a story about that world around you. Well, string lips. And then many others. Peter Torb, who writes for his Rochester newspaper, had an article about that in maybe 1975, around that time. Well, that's Bud Sark Gannon, who wrote Deaf Heritage, has good write up about that in his book, though it didn't get a lot of publicity. I think it was good impact in many ways.
Did you happen to collect all the letters that people sent you over the years? Did you save a lot of them?
I wish I did, but when I retired, I had 4 cases, 4 cabinets full of things. What to do? I can't bring them home, so I saved only the magazines, that's all.
My God. You should have saved all those boxes for future Gallaudet archives to understand your experience in Operation Lipread. We need to teach other people not to throw away old papers. We need to save them for future archives on deaf people and their culture.
Very true. So I wish you could tell my mother that when I was in college, one summer, a family bought a new house and moved. My mother threw out all my baseball cards. I had Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Jimmy Fox. Today I'd be a millionaire if I had them all.
Yes. Well, that was some story you gave us. Do you have more to add about Operation Lipread? Or other kinds of experiences like that to share with our viewers?
Well, in a way, I think it proves that lipreading can help in some way, sometimes maybe in secret service work. Or capturing a spy or something like that. Never know, because there's a book, several books dealing with deaf teenagers have a club, detective club. They meet a deaf boy and they ask him to join the club. And the deaf boy teaches them finger spelling to communicate. They are looking for a person who stole many things from an old antique house. And one day they suspect it's that person, so they climb in the tree. I asked the deaf boy, bring binoculars, ask him to lipread what this suspect is talking to another person. Deaf boy explains what he heard, saw them say. They go to the police, inform the police. Police go catch the 2 men. It's in the book, a novel, but maybe Operation Lipread did some influence on that.
Interesting.
Second, you know the book on speech reading. You
Yes.
see any comment in there about this?
Oh, yes. I have an article in Professional Speech Reading that mentions your name and Operation Lipread. It's almost a full page in length.
You know, the interesting thing about that, what I love, I'm a baseball fan. Oh, I love baseball. What was interesting about that article? They said in baseball, players like Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, who hit exceptionally well, prove that eyes are very important. Seeing the ball last minute before they hit it. Well, the same can be true with deaf people's skills in lip reading. For example, Robert Panara lip read the Queen, and I was proud to see that comparison to be connected with Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio.
Wonderful. Good publicity about you, and also about deaf people, too. Many, many thanks for sharing your experience about Operation Lipread. Wow. Really, that Operation Lipread became one of the most popular legends of the American deaf community. Many thanks for sharing it, Dr. Robert Panara.
Thank you, Dr. Carmel. And I'm looking forward to your book when it comes out, because you have many wonderful stories to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Simon Carmel. Good day.